The first one is going to be 35 Heathcote Drive, which is Scott. Hi, Scott.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Okay, I am going to share my screen. So as Daisy had just said, our project that we're here for this evening is 35 Heathcote. Heathcote is a Mount Kisco postal address. It is the street just before you get to Mount Kisco Country Club. I should say that there's Petersville between Heathcote and Mount Kisco Country Club, but this is our subject property is number 35. Gonna zoom out a touch. The house was a 90s kind of traditionally oriented house and surrounded with clapboard siding, surrounded with homes of essentially very similar details. Our project is a 5-foot deep addition off the rear of the house that runs virtually the entire length of the back of the house to expand the kitchen, breakfast room, and a family room. I will take you to our exterior elevations to discuss so from the curb, from the street, from Heathcote, this is the front of our house. And to the side, there are 2 existing chimneys. In our project, one of the chimneys will be removed because the family room addition will come around the corner. And this little bubbled area represents the side, what you would see from the street as it relates to this addition. To the rear of the house, as you saw in the earlier picture, this is the existing rear elevation. Our family room currently has a pair of sliding glass doors with arched top windows, and then there's an angled bay that comes off of the breakfast room, and then a fixed plate glass window in the kitchen. So this is where we are building off the back. Our addition is taking the rear of the house in a more contemporary direction. We are looking at Marvin Ultimate windows that would be black set against a white siding. We integrate some of the traditional details with a slightly less ornate corner, but still an articulated corner. Our new breakfast bay actually has mitered glass at the corners with a central slider. And then the final element in our expanded family room, you see that we've relocated our chimney. A TV would potentially go up on here, but this is actually part of a covered veranda space, which you can see in our side elevations. So this is the side as if you were in the garage. The addition would be in the background. And the final elevation, this is the existing side of the house with the 2 chimneys. We have 1 chimney coming down with the new box bay at the end, and we are matching our shake roof for the extension of this veranda, and then we are introducing a lead-coated copper roof at the new dormers on the veranda, as well as the roof of the breakfast room.
Can you go to the floor plan for a minute so we can see and plan what's going on?
Sure. Mm-hmm. Actually, this is
Show, I guess, existing and adding.
So this is the floor plan. Would you like to see the demo plan?
Yeah, I guess so. So we can just see the part that's.
Sure. Okay, so we have the existing kitchen and the angled bay off of the breakfast room. There's an elevated stone patio with a built-in barbecue here. And then you have the family room to the right with an existing fireplace. And we are removing this whole duration of the back of the house to create a larger kitchen, butler pantry, and larger family room, which is shown here. Excuse me. The one other piece, I mean, I should say the impetus of this project is under a separate application. There's been a lot of research into our site. There is, as you might have seen in the site plan, a pool going into this project that is directly behind the house. And so everything that we've done in terms of our site plan development has been related to the pool. To that point, that is why we're doing this covered shade area, so as to not cast anything onto the pool, any shade onto the pool. But we are also introducing a new, there's an existing full bath that we're converting into we're calling it the cabana bath. It's now going to be a powder room sized for changing. But that rounds out the program of this project.
What material is the house again? On the drawings, you just had it white.
It's the existing house is a painted clapboard.
So the chimneys are still wrapped in the clapboard?
So the existing chimney is clapboard, and then we're doing
because that remained.
Correct.
Yeah.
Why did you opt for something so radically different than the architecture of the house in the back?
On the back, it's just part of the way the house, the interior of the architecture and earlier renovations has taken this house. Ultimately, this is intended to be a cleaner white. Not from the street, frankly, it would still look just like it does in the other homes, but we wanted the intervention in this breakfast room and family room to have a more modern feel consistent with the interior architecture.
What interior architecture? The windows are all different. I'm just wondering.
Well, I mean, the whole living space on the back of the house, which is all interconnected and open to each other on the back side of the house.
So wait, besides the windows, the siding is the same, correct?
Correct.
It's hard to tell on the drawing because the drawing
Yeah, that's right. I can't tell.
is, you're only indicating the finishes on the new part.
So yes, I mean, I could go back to the images of the house too. Just in here, we try not to. It's like we put the cedar shake in and it starts to look all shake. We're not changing anything on the existing front of the house, and that's why we are blending in, tucked from the street. All you'll see is that side, and that's also why we're introducing more of a transitional rail, which is purely decorative, but is rather than having more roof be visible from the street. It's how the addition transitions into the rear of the house.
Even the shed dormers, I mean, it's very different. The massing and the metal roofs and the proportions of the windows, the lack of buttons, looks very different.
Well, it is. I should also add that these are the windows that are in the existing house. These are snap in place grills that have been removed. So we're just showing them as existing because that they were existing, but they're not there. I don't consider that to be changed.
Wait, so they're planning on taking the grills off? I'm sorry.
So why do you
no,
show
I'm
them
saying
in
that in the existing house, these are removable grills. So but I'm not looking at those windows. I'm strictly looking at the rear of the house. I was making this point because the only portion of this addition that would be visible to anyone from the street would be this side area, which the railing is intended to be the nod to the windows. I mean, I think it's a very common aesthetic, especially in the newer homes that Tavo had put up the street, which blend together a little bit more of like an industrial, modern farmhouse look. We were seeking to not have that representation to the street, but rather on the back of the house, going to a larger glass. Really, we also back to Cowden, which is all private trees. We're separated by acres. And so the client with this pool coming really wanted a lot of glass and not a lot of divided glass, which is what the front of the house represents. But in terms of the shapes of the existing dormers, that's what influenced the shape of our actual roof on the back. We did not want to have any windows that had a deep pocket in front of them. And so that's why we, in identifying an architecture for the back, chose to follow the pitches of the dormers that are on above the garage side. It's also why we did this folded roof above the breakfast room. Otherwise, the majority of the roofing is actually the same asphalt shingle as the existing house.
I don't know about the rest of you guys. I just think it's so different. I mean, the dormers, on the side, they're not dormers, they're sheds. Shed dormers. They look very different, and the slope of the roof and the proportions of the glass, even without the muttons. And if you were gonna take out the muttons, you should probably show us drawings where their muttons are gone, just so we can understand it.
Again, I didn't want to confuse that topic because we're not working on that part of the house. So I apologize. I mean, I was really trying to emphasize the area that we're working on.
Well, I'm looking at the back. I'm just rolling to I'm looking at the back elevation. And again, the drawing is a little misleading because it looks like it's stucco on the material instead of siding everywhere.
That's the west elevation, Rob?
I'm looking at my own the west elevation.
Yeah, I'm looking at mine too.
And even if you take the muttons out, then you've got double hung windows versus different shapes of windows. Now it looks like a totally different piece of architecture up against a pretty uniform house. So.
I think that's part of what makes that architecture unique. I mean, I feel like it's part of the experience of the back of the house. They have this unique opportunity with this pool coming to have a flat backyard. It's a rarity in town. And so to be able to create this space where they have windows that really lend to that indoor-outdoor living, the actual alignment of it, there was an extraordinary rigor to the way in which we aligned all of the muttons and the proportions of them going across the back. And again, this is all in the foreground. I think it's completely appropriate that the addition, particularly knowing what the finishes are, the slab door styles, the use of wood, this is going to be all painted to match the house. The windows themselves will be black framed. And I think that there's an extraordinary precedent for that type of intersection of traditional and contemporary architecture.
Now, the rest of you guys think, I kind of disagree with them, but what do you guys think?
I mean, I think I'm fine with it. I hear the comments, but I think it works okay. I wouldn't say I'm like thrilled with it, but I think I'm fine with it.
Travis, Ann?
Yeah, I think I'd go along with Brendan. Yeah, I think it's a little deceiving, just the elevation, the way it's drawn. I think if you get the siding lines in there and it starts to blend in a little bit better of the existing house.
I mean, the roof lines don't bother me. I think I have to agree that the rendering throws you because it does look like it's stucco and siding, and maybe I'm not saying that that necessarily would be that. I mean, I can live with it. I don't know how I don't necessarily love the combination of the windows. I appreciate the trying to meld traditional with contemporary because I'm fine with that concept.
Yeah,
It's just the mullions are throwing me because they're in such close proximity.
I think it's a tough solution because I think the client, or I think they're trying to open up that back so that back becomes the whole pool and outdoor, environment, and they're trying to open it up instead of these little punched windows.
Oh yeah, I get that. I mean, I would almost.
The
and the double hungs don't bother me. I mean, if they're snap-on grills, I personally would take them off.
All right.
But I can live with it. I think Brendan said to me it's not ideal, but.
Okay. Looks like 3 votes carry you. So you're approved.
Thank you, Robert. Take care, everybody. Have a good evening. Stay well.
You too. Be well. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Our next application is a return from our last meeting, 45 Stornoway Street. They're doing the dormer addition. You had asked them to return. They didn't have the front elevation. So, Scott, are you able to share your screen?
Yes, just give me a second. Do you see that now?
Mhm.
Yes,
Okay. So this is the front elevation. On the left side at the top is that addition. I'm just going over it with my cursor. It's this piece right here. Sits on a roof. It's actually about 18 feet or 16 feet off of this face. So it's quite a ways back. It's even behind this chimney. And again, it's same materials as the house. And that's what the addition is from the front.
So wait, so the other elevations, can you scroll down to that? I know you have them on here.
I'm sorry.
Can you flip through the other drawings
The
just to
other
refresh our memory?
elevations.
Yeah, give me 1 second, please.
I think we've all forgotten. It's been a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, so these were the elevations.
Right.
This is that piece that if you see my cursor going up here,
Mhm.
that's the piece that's reflected in the front, and that's what was missing.
I'm okay with it.
Yep. Okay. Travis, Brendan, anything?
Yeah, I think we're good. I think it was.
Yeah, I wasn't at the last one, but if it was just an issue of adding that to the front, I seems like it's accomplished.
Okay. All right. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Okay, thank
You're
you.
approved.
Have a good evening.
You
have a
too.
good night. Okay, our next application is 150 Whippoorwill Road.
I'm sorry, what is it, Jason?
150 Whippoorwill Road.
Oh,
So
okay, so
Whippoorwill?
Croton's not coming.
No, they're
Okay.
gonna attend the next one. I don't know if anyone's here for that application, so we'll go on to the next, which is a
Oh.
signed application for 140 King Street. And Francine is on.
Hello.
Hi. Francine, are you able to share? If not, I can share my screen. Hello?
She's on mute.
Oh,
Unmute. Okay.
okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay.
Um,
and I have the person Caesar with me.
Okay.
Okay. Well, he's not with me, but he should be on.
Yeah.
He's on.
there.
He is
He-
on. Okay.
Yeah, do you need me to show the plan?
Sure.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay. Can you see that?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead, Francine, you can talk. Or Caesar.
Okay. So there's going to be three. It's going to be three signs. One is going to be overhead. This one is for. This one
First,
is
let
for
me
the.
let me show where the location is.
Okay. Perfect.
So. Mm,
You mean location in town? Or
yeah, it's right where the balloon place is on the right hand side going
I
up
mean, I don't
King.
know where the balloon, but I know where the village yard is.
Oh, okay.
It's right up the road from Riches and
Yes. Yes.
I know that she had mentioned that she was at another location and she's taking her existing sign, which is the one that's right here, and she was bringing it.
oh, okay.
So I know
Where-
that.
Is it fitting over one box bay or across the whole thing? Or what?
Go ahead, Francine, I'll let you talk.
It's actually, it fits perfectly where it's like the windows, the box window is. It's perfectly fits exactly what the box window, the measurements. Maybe a little smaller.
Do you have an image of what it might
Yeah.
look like?
It's right.
She does. Slide 5.
One more. No,
Not that one?
no,
Oh, that's the old one.
that's the old one. That one, yes. See where the window is? It's just I couldn't make it smaller to show you, so I just used like sort of like I cut it out just to give you.
But where is it going? From where to where? Just over
It's
the
going
single-
right where the window box is, right there. From
It's the exact
one-
length of the
It's
box?
same, yes, a little bit smaller.
And what's the
Wait,
sign?
it's
made
just
of?
going right above the left window box?
The left window box. There was
So
already an
that
existing
door
sign there.
goes to 2 businesses, I guess.
Yes.
Okay,
One is the cleaners and the other
Uh-huh.
one is the skincare.
okay.
Does the cleaners have a sign? There's no sign up over the window there?
No. There
I
was, there
think they
was
may
an
have one in the
existing,
front.
I think their windows, or I think
In
their
front.
signs on the opposite elevation.
Yeah. Because they have exposure to King Street.
Yeah, to King Street. Yep.
Oh, this is the side facing the parking lot, so
yes.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that's it, okay.
So can you tell us a little bit about what the sign is made out of, everything?
the sign that's going above the window box is made out of wood
Uh-huh,
and it's etched. It was handmade.
uh-huh.
And the other two are smaller and they're just acrylic plastic.
Okay.
There you
But
go.
What
what we're looking at is wood.
Where do
This one
go?
is wood, correct?
Okay.
So
Now,
this
can you
picture, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
can you go back to, why don't we just start from the top? So go back to page 2. So that sign you're putting in that little box next to the cleaners,
Next to the cleaners, yeah.
you're just never going to read all that stuff. I mean, look at what everybody else has. You know, Monet's Garden just has Monet's Garden on it.
Okay.
Santa's just has Santa's hair salon, and you have
Phone number, yeah.
4, 5 lines of phone number. You're never going to see these if you're thinking that this is really, I mean, I think you want to get the attention of people.
Oh, I
on
could just do the
cars.
skincare then. Okay, that's fine. I could do that.
Well, put your name, put Healing Touch, but forget the,
You want to attract people in cars, not just walkers.
I would take
Okay.
this, the little flag with the phone number and the service by appointment, take that out, open up the
Okay.
space so you have some more room to design. So you can make, you know, the Healing Touch Francine's Natural Skincare and Herbalist larger, or you may want to just put Healing Touch. I think. you
Yeah, I
need to
could
play
do that.
around
I could
with it,
just do the
but,
plain, simple Healing Touch. That's fine. I could do that.
yeah.
Healing Touch skincare.
I mean, you just want it
Very
visible.
simple.
This is,
Okay.
you know, that's the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can see how simple everybody else's message is.
Well, the other one, she actually had Ivana Deniston aesthetics, and then she had brow electrolysis and everything.
Right.
So I was just trying to follow her.
Oh, but you can't
Like-
see, I'm sure you can't, you know, we're close up, but if you're in a car, I
Yeah.
mean, it's not like it gets a lot of foot traffic, right?
Of course, yeah.
You're never going to see it.
So that could be simplified, definitely. That I can change right
What is
away.
the
I could
cleaner's
just-
sign? What is the cleaner's sign made of that you're next to? Is that plastic also, or is that wood? What is that?
That's wood.
We-
Are they're,
And
so
what-
they're all attached to this one piece, right?
Yes.
They all look engraved, are they? I mean, maybe it's hard to tell in the photo, but are they all wood engraved? Are you the only one that would be plastic?
I don't think Monet is, or Camp
No, I
West.
don't think so.
I just think the 3 on the
I
bottom.
remember the psychic coming, but I don't remember what it was made of coming in front of us, but I don't remember what it was made out of.
It's not coming back to you, it's psychic or something?
Yeah, yeah, right. Here, let me rub on my.
So I can change that definitely. That's simple. That's a simple change and I
So-
can do that.
So just for the record, what do we want? What is it going to say?
It'll just say Healing Touch skincare.
And again, do you guys, I'm not familiar with this enough to know, is Monet's plastic? I mean, is this gonna look, appropriate there, or is it gonna stand out as being different?
I
You
don't
guys
know, but
comfortable?
it looks like Camp Westmont and Monet's is plastic to me, or, acrylic, but that's just based on this picture. I don't see any kind of engraved shadows or anything, but
It looks like the one getting taken down is plastic too.
yeah.
Actually.
Okay. Oh, that's it. Okay, that's
She can't really do the design in the back as an engraving. I mean, I
And where's the third sign besides the window box and the?
Oh, the third sign is the window box as you enter the building. It would be, wait, next one. Nope. Right on the left side there's a window box that's already existing. So I was going to put the other size sign there. It's also acrylic.
It's supposed to go on that like white square thing. It's just
Yes.
to the right of it? Okay. Yeah. Got it.
Exactly. Like a menu board.
Uh-huh.
So can I keep that sign original to
Yeah,
the number and
think
everything? And
so.
then for the outside, for the Village Yard island, I'll just do plain Healing Touch skincare, and that's it. I could do that. I can simplify that.
So the one that's going here, what's the dimensions of it? Do we have enough information there? So that's
Yes,
Yeah,
I
it
do.
says 27 and a quarter by 18 and a quarter.
Yes, it's a
Oh,
big,
okay. Oh, it's a good size.
Yeah.
That little, it looks like a vertical orientation though, doesn't it?
yeah. And then it's just, I could just paint the top like that. It fits perfect. It's just smaller. So it's not a square, but it fits
Okay.
perfect. I mean, it looks cute. I mean, I did put it up against to see it.
Did you make it yet?
Yes, I did. It's been done. I just go through the Vista print.
Well, is it possible to make it to fit? I mean, the right size? To read
They don't
something like
have that size. They don't have that exact size. That's the only, they have the size for the island part, but they don't have the size for the window box. I mean, I don't have to do the window box. I just thought it would be a nice little touch because like today I had clients and they didn't know where I was because I had no signs at all. So I had to tell them that I was next door to the cleaners.
Yeah, you should have one, especially if the cleaner says we're on the right side of the door.
Yeah. And it's not that big. It's actually not that full square. It's just, it's just enough. It's not too big. It's not too small. It fits nice. It fits nice on the sides. It's just, this part is a little short, but a little fresh paint. It would look very nice.
All right, we all good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think just simplifying that one on the street would be, just like Ann said, would be good.
Well, that's more for you. I mean, no one's going to see the sign unless you simplify it.
Yeah, I'll do that. That takes, I can even fix that tonight and prepare it. It should take maybe 4 or 5 days to get, maybe a week. I could just cut all that out and just keep it for the window box. And that's also acrylic.
Okay.
Well, do we need her? Are we disapproving? We don't need her to come back. Or?
Well, maybe she can leave it with Daisy. We'll just look at it the next meeting.
Okay.
Simple.
Okay, so when you make that change, if you can just email it to me and I'll email it to the board.
Okay, and then I have to go back on Zoom?
Bob?
No, if it's just.
Well, only if there's an
over-
issue.
Yeah, if there's an
Okay.
issue, we'll ask for it.
All right, and I had my worker that was gonna do it. I didn't know if he was on Zoom too, so I didn't know if you wanted to speak to him as well.
He's still on. Is that Caesar?
Yeah, it's Caesar.
Yes, it's me. Yep.
I
Can you
think
hear
we're
me?
good. Yep, I think we're good.
Okay, I think we're good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Have a good
Bye.
night.
Have a good night. Thank you.
bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay. Our next application is Tim Leonard for 7 Mid Place.
Hey, everybody.
See, you're saving on paper.
Who, me?
You put everything on one page.
I believe in being compact. What can I tell you? Honestly, this Zoom thing is the best thing that's ever been created. I hope it never goes away because it allows you to do stuff like this, which I think I've done with
I hate to break it to you, but I think back
Daisy. Don't say it. You know you love it too.
I do love it, but in
Don't say
July,
it.
I think it's
Don't
going
say it,
back in
Daisy.
July.
So
Don't say it, Dave.
tell Tom DePaul to put in the budget for a computer so I can do this when I go into town hall.
Sure, no problem. You got it. Just you. I'll bring my laptop.
Thank you. So here we are at the corner of West Place and Mid Place. I'll shoot you down. I think it's a great way to just to look at neighbors. This is
Oh,
the neighbor on the
it by,
corner.
across from Grafflin?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's that neighborhood Hill Home, I guess it's called.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's basically, pretty traditional homes, a lot of white houses with black shutters and stuff like that. Here's a shot of this house. And a lot of them are 2-story with like 1-story flanking pieces that are either garages or offices, like the house I'm working on. This is the house in question. The area we're building is above there. But I'll finish up here first and just show you. This is another kind of stone and might be clapboard on that house with some shutters, and go down the road. And this is actually a kind of a unique property where they have a pretty big piece of land that's kind of wooded between them and the neighbors. So it's pretty well screened on the side that we're working on. I'm going to get out of this one, unless you have any questions on that, and I'll walk you through the plans. So there's Mid Place. Looking from the front, the shaded area is where we're adding a bathroom and a laundry area to the second floor. This is the floor plan itself. It's off the main bedroom. They're getting a pretty comfortable size bathroom and bringing the laundry way up out of the basement to create this space. I purposely set the front wall back for 2 reasons. Aesthetically, for one, I wanted to keep this little piece of roof in the front, and the zoning setback is right about there. So I don't have to ask for a front yard variance on this one. I do have to ask for FAR variance, but at least I kept that one off the books. There's actually other houses you can't see from the road. These are actually shot from the backyard of my client's house. So this is like the back of one, that's the back of the other. And you can see they all have varying roof lines, 1 and 2 stories in height. So existing photo from the front. Here is the house is a vinyl sided house with these actual wood shutters, believe it or not. And we're going to plan on matching the siding, the roof, and the details. So here's that little roof line that I wanted to keep above this office. Here's the dormer we're making in the laundry room. I purposely made the pediment detail match the existing front portico detail, which is actually pretty nice. I believe this already went to you guys years ago for the front portico and addition out the back. So, the windows are all to match. There's grills between the glass, and we're matching the casings on the sides also. Here's the rear that I already had, and I'm not talking about those shutters today. I'm not talking about them. So here's the rest of the back, which we're matching the eave line, which it's actually a 7.5 foot eave, and it slopes up a little on the inside and flattens out to 8. So I can match that pitch along this side and gain the volume I need for the bathroom in the back of the house. And then a little salt box action to that roof on the side drops a knee wall down, then the laundry, and then I can pop up again for more headroom with the gabled dormer facing the front. We're going to be putting the proper casings on all the windows. When they did this renovation years ago, they got gypped out of casing, so I'm going to make sure they put them on so the whole house will be uniform and completely match everything. That's it.
Looks good to me.
Yeah, looks good.
Okay.
What's going on with those shutters, but otherwise it looks.
I'm not done with the shutters. I'm not done. You're going to like this. So when I was there, I pointed out to them that we have, usually a nice discussion of shutters at this board. And I said, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not showing these shutters to that board, and I want you to take them off. And they looked at me and they said, oh my God, we didn't know those shutters were there. so they're like, you're right. They're awful. We're going to take them off. So at least those are coming out of there.
All right, it's a start. They're nice shutters themselves, but
they're nice shutters, but I'm actually going to reuse these up top. So they're the right size.
okay.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
And now, Tim, do you want to do 34 Morton?
Sure. If no problem. Do the same kind of presentation here. Let me go back to this. Hold on, I got to change something first. Let me just change that page.
Someone's dog needs to go out.
Someone's dog. Yeah.
That's Gracie. It's her birthday today, and she wants to go outside.
Aw.
So she's upstairs, and I'm downstairs. She's gonna have to wait. So this is 34 Morton. You probably never have ever driven down this neighborhood. It's actually in back of the library, which is right there. It's a dead end with these little walking paths that they can cut through to the elementary school, I believe, that's over there. And you spin around, and there's a house here.
Oh, it's off of Smith.
Yes, it's off Smith, and this all bends around. Glenside is
Wow, look at
here.
that big house there. Huh.
Yeah, this is what comes off of Smith is this road. So actually the approach to the house is really from this direction. So you come down and there's the property over there. And it turns out I have 2 front yards on this one. I got to go to zoning board for this as well. But that doesn't concern you guys. So I'll now take you to those plans. So here was Glenside. I just walked you down here and came across Morton to the dead end. The spots where we're building is the yellow is obviously a, pretty much at grade wood deck. And then there's the pink areas of the addition. We're putting mostly a screen porch on the first floor and then a bedroom and bathroom up above that. And so you can see the proximity to the library here, which is kind of interesting way to look at it. But this is where the addition is going. That's the back part of the library, and those are the other neighbors over there.
Do you have pictures of the house itself? Oh, here we go.
Yep. Yeah, it's on the next
I
page.
see it, next page.
So I don't even know if you want to look at floor plans. I'll show them to you. They're I did a roof plan for you guys. That's my roof plan, guys.
Mr. Stanley, he's not here tonight.
Yeah.
I'm on.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, no, it's for me. I did this just for you, by the way. So
Thank you. Really appreciate it. It looks like
because believe it or not, this one would be a little tricky to explain to full just elevation drawing. So because the existing roof has already got stuff going on. There's a main ridge here. There's a secondary ridge here. There's 2 front-facing peaks going out here. This thing was an addition put on at some point. It's like a glass roof sunroom, but then the rest of this is asphalt shingles over here. And the gray area is where I'm connecting into all of that. And actually above this part of this back bedroom, it's a flat roof, which I want to eliminate and actually put a pitched roof on that. So all my eaves will line up. I can see asphalt shingles there. I'm going to create a couple of valleys, a couple of hips, but that's basically how it's going to work. This is what's going on the second floor, bedroom, bathroom, laundry coming up out of the basement again. And on the first floor is a screen porch that's going to have a connection to the existing rear porch. We're creating a mudroom built into some of that porch because this area actually is adjacent to a little wetland. I've got to get a wetlands permit also. And it's extremely buggy, as you can imagine. So one of their biggest requests was, it's great to sit outside on the deck, but we get eaten alive. So that's the reason for the porch. So I got before and after elevations along with the pictures. This is the side you see from Glenside. That's existing, some secondary ridge, main ridge. There's the flat roof beyond. This is actually asphalt shingles in here, and this is that little kind of slopey glass roof thing you see right in here. And so what we're proposing to do, the house has shingles on it right now, wood shingles. And I'm going to carry some of the wood shingles around on the first floor, but then it's going to transition obviously to screening. And the way I like to do screen porches is to actually use storm door panels. That way you can pop the screens out in the fall and pop in the glass storms, and you've got yourself, a more year-round type of space to use. Still be unheated and not habitable, but far more usable. Then I wanted to take my second floor space and transition that into a board and batten material. So this is purposely set off from the rest of the house. Again, I utilize knee walls to drop my eaves down to keep my ridge under control and not pop up too high. And then this forms a shed dormer at the 8-foot height that I want for the full headroom in the space. On the driveway side, the opposite side of that, this is where you've got that little flat roof piece off the back. Here's the existing back porch. And we're going to retrim out the porch. Actually, I believe right now it's just got these steel columns that are kind of horrible, that are very thin and spindly and too long. So the idea is that we want to build up more of like a real porch here and trim it out more traditionally with some, decent fascia boards, trim out the column. The structure underneath the porch and second floor is going to be brick piers. Again, the wetlands, I really don't want to build any foundation here. So we're going to do brick piers and infill it with vertical boards to keep the critters out of there. On the first floor, again, I am tying in some of the shingles at this level, but transitioning for the whole second floor addition to the board and battens, because I want this to look more farmhousey in the back part of the house. This is the area where you saw on the roof plan that I'm going to create this new hip roof that ties in perfectly to this new ridge that's going to be placed between, it's kind of a cricket roof, but it kind of ties this roof on the same plane and this roof blends in. The truth is, from the ground, you never see any of that. And then next page, back elevation. So here's what it looks like from the back. Hold on, I lost it. So there's some weird stuff going on here too. For some reason, there's this odd little break in the wall. I'm actually going to fur this out flush. So this is all now one plane tying into where the screen porch starts. And you can see it's the same spindly column look from back here. And that flat roof goes along that whole back part of the house. So that'll all be completely eliminated. The deck will go over here, and these existing French doors will access the deck. So from the back, starting over on the driveway side, it's the same deal. There's the porch, the side door goes in over there, some new properly sized egress windows in the bedroom here with a window seat. There's my hip roof that will just lie on top eventually to the existing roof. And this is the look of the storm screens. We trimmed out a nice freeze board around the whole house to tie it in all the way for the side elevation, all the way back to where it hits this existing part of the house. This is the little area where I'm going to fur it out and make it all flush. And then even in the back for a little more texture and shadow line, I like to add a little peekaboo roof over the top of this back window with some little brackets. And there's where my shed dormers pop out to keep that ridge line nice and low. Composite decking and railing system. It's only a couple feet off the ground, but I still like to keep that protected, with the railing. The front's a weird little quirky thing. We're not touching it, but at some point, and I think it was in the 90s, somebody added this master suite here, and they decided all of a sudden that Tudor was the style of this house. So I don't know where it came from, but I'm not touching it and not touching the rest of it either. And that's it.
Wow, complicated house to start with.
Yeah, I get those periodically. It's fun. It makes it interesting.
Yeah.
That's a nice big
Looks
addition.
good.
Handled very
It's
well.
like a nice little design
Okay.
solution.
Yeah.
Looks nice.
Yep. I'm good with it. It's a good solution to cleaning it all up.
Thank you.
Okay, you're approved. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Take care.
Okay.
See you live next time.
Take care.
Walk the dog.
Possibly.
I'm going to let her out right now.
Happy
See you later.
birthday.
Have a good one. Okay, last application is going to be 180 Croton Lake Road. And I see the architect is on, is the owner?
Yes, good evening, everybody. My name's Chris Broda. I'm the architect, and Sheldon Sharp is with me also. He is the owner of the property. And let me just give you a little bit of, may I share the screen?
Yes.
Okay, let me give you a walkthrough here.
Like,
Yeah, so this is our house, a modest home that's a one-story ranch
can't see
kind
anything.
of house.
So,
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And we have across the street is pretty much a hillside and trees, so there are no homes across the street. There are, we're right at the, just about one house up from the corner of Lois Place, that's over here. And so it's a neighborhood of homes that are mostly two-story, kind of split level or colonial or split level colonials. The house up the street is a little bit more of a modern house. A little hard to see it here, but there you go, kind of a little bit more of a contemporary kind of flavor. So our house is a kind of in bad shape. It's a bit rough, and it's made of, I gotta find this. It's made of concrete block for the walls, so it's kind of a little bit of a challenge there, with a little bit of clapboard up above. So it's, let's see, I'm sorry, I've misplaced this. There it is. I'll bring up the photos that we have that we submitted, and you'll see that this is our site plan, by the way.
No, you have to exit your screen and then start again.
Okay, new
'Cause
share.
You're still on Google.
Gotcha. So we are the site, this is the survey. We have a brook that goes through here and joins the Kisco River here. Lois Place Park is right behind the property. There's a really steep drop off to the bottom of the property. So as you can see here on this is the existing site plan. The one to the left is the proposed site plan. So this is the shape of the house. There's a one-story porch on the back, which is pretty poorly built, let's just say. It doesn't have a proper foundation or any of that, and would have to be taken off no matter what. So what we're proposing, and here you can see from the topography that we drop off pretty steeply. So I'll bring you back to the photos. Here's our locations. Here's the neighboring home. Oh, let me get back to our house. There it is. So as you can see here, we've got some, this is the back of the house. There's that porch that's kind of put up on sort of just brick. It looks like that's been piled on the ground. Doesn't really have a proper foundation. The rest of it is concrete block with stucco and double hung windows for the most part without any muntins. There's a view from the front, and this is the side of the garage. Another shot of the front. Here's the front from the street. So what we're proposing is actually to take the house down to the first floor platform. The floor structure is in good shape. I've checked it out. It looks like it's in really good shape. But what we want to do is make a two-story home and bring this up higher. One complication we have is that the side setback, as you'll see on the front, on the site plan here, the side setback crosses over the edge of the garage. So when I go and do a second floor, I'm not going to expand it past that side setback because we wanted to avoid having to go for a zoning variance. The rest of the zoning requirements we meet very easily with setbacks and height, and we're out of the steep slope area that we're going to be building our addition. So you can see here as we expand out back here, we're out of the wetland buffer and we're out of the steep slope area. And so what we're proposing, let me switch again, is a 2-story home with a contemporary modernish feel. This is the front of the house. There's the garage. We plan to change the slope of the roof on the garage, add the second floor. We're keeping the footprint for the most part and only expanding in the back of the house. So as you can see here in the back of the house, we're looking at something that will give us a nice 2.5 story family room, trying to make it a big open floor plan and really modernize it on the first floor. So we can have a nice open floor plan. Let me get you to that floor plan. So here, as you can see, entrance to the house, here's a foyer, and then we have a large open floor plan with kitchen, living, and so on. A pretty generous mudroom, pantry, laundry area off the garage and off the front area. And this is the existing side piece here, which makes conveniently for what could be a bedroom, or we could put some doors here if the owners wish, and we could make that sort of a library. This could be a home office or bedroom. We'll be getting approval for what amounts to, because of the Department of Health requirements, this will be considered a 6-bedroom house from a septic system standpoint. So that's what we'll be doing. On the second floor, we have a hallway as you come up the stairs, a hallway that overlooks down below into the family room. And it has a view out through the large glass, because we do have a pretty nice view of the park from here. Primary bedroom suite with a bath over the garage, but not over the setback. So we're not increasing the nonconformity. And then we have a couple of other bedrooms here on the side. So we get 4 bedrooms on the second floor and 2 bedrooms, 2 quote unquote bedrooms on the first floor. And our goal was to be, in a more of a contemporary vein. We're looking at hardy plank siding, hardy siding, and using probably a darker color. They call it antique pewter, which is a really nice gray that has a warmth to it. It's got a brown gray to it. Using that as our trim and as our siding, and then going with something like an Anderson window. It doesn't quite show correctly in here, but we're thinking probably to go not with the white, but we're still debating it, whether we should go with white or go with a dark color, like a dark gray. Anderson Windows offers a dark gray. I'm not sure I want to go with black. I think that's a little too strong, but the gray tones would all blend very nicely together.
Can you turn the house a little more on the computer?
Sure. Which way would you like to go?
Either, I guess 180 degrees. Let's see.
Yep. Okay. So here we go. Whoops.
I miss, is this your house or is this a client's house?
No, this is my client's house. My client, Sheldon Sharp, is here with me, and this is his house. So
does the garage sloped roof do anything for you?
Well, for me, it right now it's a peak that goes front to back.
Right.
And it made it kind of awkward for me to be able to get a bathroom on the second floor for the primary bedroom, to be able to get a working, if you take a look at it sort of face on here, no, it doesn't quite work a little bit, but there you go. If you look at it kind of face on, if I were to leave it front to back, the peak would end up being kind of right in the middle of where the only really good spot is for me to get a window in, the way the bathroom would work. As I've got it laid out, there'd be a freestanding tub with a nice dramatic window in front of it. And then we can get the other fixtures around here. If I ended up with the peak going on here, then, we would make it a very different kind of bathroom. Wouldn't really get the kind of drama that you can get from the bathroom here.
Can I see the front elevation or 3D model again?
Sure. Here's the 3D, and I'll give you the front elevation as well.
Do those windows have any depth, or are these just metal windows flush with the siding, or?
Well, they have trim. They have trim around them. So, and they are Anderson 400 series windows, casements.
Is there any depth, or is it flush with the siding?
You know, the standard for putting Anderson in is that it tends to be a little bit protruding forward, and then the trim sits next to it, but the trim matches the siding. Typically, let me see if we can zoom in on it here. Typically, you have some trim that's a little bit proud of the siding, but because of the way Anderson windows are made, and all of the modern windows are made this way, that I mean current windows, let's say, they have a nailing flange that you nail to the sheathing, and so they stick out usually about an inch from the face of the sheathing, and then the trim itself is about an inch thick. So the trim will be pretty much flush with this, and of course the siding does slope a bit, so it needs to match the trim as well, so you don't get water infiltration. So it's a pretty standard, typical way that we install windows these days. But they have, you know, they do have a profile to them, certainly.
Can you zoom back out again to this elevation?
Sure.
So I guess when I first saw your image or 3D model of the house, the roof of the garage really bothers me. I mean, it's a huge triangle. And I would say if that was an existing condition, so be it, but it's a brand new house. And if you're going for a modern look, I'm just, you know, I'm not telling you how to design it, but I'm just thinking maybe a flat roof would be almost better, and clean it up, because you just end up with so much opaque siding along there.
Right.
And if
we
I take
also take the pitch of it down. Right now it is a let's see, I'll have to give me 1 second to manipulate this. The roof is at a 6 pitch. If I brought it down to a 4 pitch, you know, it would certainly lower that.
I mean, that feels better to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And then also, if I take your drawing here and just split it down the middle, and I take a look at the right half, you know, there's a certain kind of proportion and you know, logic to what you're doing there, I think. But then everything to the left side is just kind of, you got 5 windows kind of all over the place. And then again, the garage roof bothers me.
Yeah, I feel like the windows are too spotty looking, especially when you look at the rear elevation. There's definitely, there's a program to the windows, and I feel like there isn't that in the front, especially on the left side.
Yeah, these kind of line up well. These two are in the closets upstairs, so they're centered on the closets from a logical standpoint. When you're, you know.
And what about the small window next to the front door?
Yeah, the ones down below, one's in the powder room. Again, that kind of has to be in that location. I mean, I certainly could. Why don't I go ahead and see how they look when they all line up?
Yeah.
If we do that. You know, there's the elevation. I see what you're saying about it. It makes it a little bit more harmonious.
Does that one on the left have to be you know, you have these nice wide windows on the right side and in the back, and then you just have these small, narrow.
Well, these two guys, I think you have to, because again, they're in a master closet. So the
What about
wider
the
you
one on
make
the
it,
bottom?
then you eliminate hanging space. You know, if you make those pretty big.
What about the one on the bottom?
The one on the bottom, this is a pantry. Sorry, let me get the floor plan. That's a pantry, but we certainly have the room to be able to do something bigger. So if I were to match, say, the one that's on this side to give it a little bit of a balance, now we can take a look at that. Certainly that would be the same size as these two.
Mhm.
And I could either line it up centered in there, or I can make it line up to the side of it. Was trying to, reach for something that was a little bit more modern and perhaps a little less sort of expected kind of colonial thing. But actually, I like that. I like this lined up where you have the same distance between these two windows on the side. And that certainly, a window of that size doesn't bother me in the mud room and pantry either.
What
So-
if you tried to make the garage roof flat instead of just lower the pitch? What if you made it flat?
If we just made it flat, all right, let me give it that.
Because it's such an odd mass for a.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe pull it up on the left a little bit or something.
Yeah, I've got it with there's also, we're talking about using a standing seam metal roof on the house. So there's a certain amount of pitch you have to have in order for that to work. When you get to, at this point, I've put it at a 1-inch pitch. That becomes more of a EPDM roof. But again, it's not really that visible from the street. It's not really that visible from anywhere on the property. So
It is.
And the
it's a
more that
very
you do
visible
that-
element of the house, yeah.
The more that you decrease the pitch, that area though, right there really begs for a window.
yes, it
The
does.
bathroom.
Yep.
I'd
Yep.
agree.
So I think that's not a bad thing at all. Let me pop one in.
Yeah, all of that's helping, I think.
Yeah.
And what's happening with the front door and the window next to it? Is that set back from the plane of the house?
Yes, it is. It's set back from the plane of this and this. This is where the existing house sets back now.
Uh-huh.
So we're trying to avoid having to put in a lot of money into foundations if we can avoid it. So, so if you look at the floor plan here, it does have this little
Okay.
indentation.
Right.
So it gives me an opportunity to put, another little porch roof over here.
And what do you have there? A window well for a basement?
Yeah, that's something we've been going back and forth on. The issue, let me get you the basement plan. The issue with the basement is that when you come down the stairs here, this right here that you see is the existing house, and this family room, as I call it here, is the proposed addition. This is really the footprint of the addition. And so you're kind of landlocked when you're in here, because once the family room goes on, and if we have a patio in the back, that kind of prevents any chance for any kind of windows along this side. So rather than having a basement that's completely without any windows, one thought is to have the window in the front. But the problem to me is that given the depth that you've got to go to, you end up having to put a railing, which is definitely not as attractive with the front.
Yeah. Oops.
You don't have it on your elevation.
Yeah, it's not on the one that I submitted, but I ended up looking at it and saying today, oh man, we really are going to need to have a railing there. So, I'm fine with ditching the windows here. This is really where you want to have people spend time. Not, let me just get rid of these lines. This is really where you're going to spend some time, and not so much in here. This could easily become maybe a media room or something, and you wouldn't want windows. So I'm perfectly fine with getting rid of the windows here. And of course,
is that north facing also?
this is actually east facing. North is in this direction to the right of the house.
You got pricing estimates for footings? Because you're building a brand new house and you're living with so many restrictions just for half of the footings of the house.
Well, you'd be surprised how much this costs.
No, the project will cost a lot because it's a new
Yes.
house, but the footings themselves, I mean, you would have incredible flexibility if you had some new footings.
Well, again, the shape of what we wanted on the first floor here meets fine. The basement, these footings here are existing. There's an existing chimney we're taking down. To take all of this down and replace it with beams to hold it, we are retaining the first floor structure. So we have the floor decking. We're keeping that. It's in good shape. Lumber is incredibly expensive these days. It doesn't make sense to tear this whole thing out. And we have to put a new septic system in. I mean, the cost, we do have a budget. So
Okay, I'm just asking.
it just, I don't have an issue with a room like this. You're in a basement. Everybody has to recognize they're in a basement with a family room. It's not a walkout basement. If you wanted to, you could possibly make it a walkout basement, but with some effort. But now you're talking about, a patio that could be this size. You could put a pool in back here. You've got doors coming out for the back so that it's nice and open. And, I suppose we could make these windows, and we could put some windows in the basement over here. These obviously for the family room area, you definitely want to be able to walk out. But I could certainly put windows under here and give that room some light in the basement so that, say, these windows became, windows over here. And that would certainly add some light and air into the room.
Yeah, I think that's always a good thing. Can you go to the first floor
Sure.
plan?
Yeah.
How deep is the from the back to the supporting wall, the kitchen, living, dining room?
These two?
Yeah.
That is 23 feet, almost 24 feet.
Yeah. Has an engineer looked at this yet?
No, but I do my own structural engineering pretty much. So, I mean, I certainly have an engineer I can consult on it, but I know that we're going to need to have a steel beam in here.
Mhm, okay.
Lights up here. Yeah, that's,
Okay. And then
I tend to do my own engineering.
what's supporting your front porch roof?
The front porch roof, we're going to have some brackets underneath there that hold it up, that will come off of the wall.
They don't show up on your elevation, I don't think.
No, I do not have them on there. I haven't quite gotten those figured out yet. I can do a triangular sort of a truss system in there, essentially, that would be hidden inside the roof shape itself.
Mm-hmm.
The other option is a pretty wide beam, pretty long beam that goes across there.
Right.
You could always put in some posts. My concern about the posts is that, it starts to take it away from a more contemporary look and brings it more into, hey, why isn't this kind of a colonial? And then it becomes, sort of the style of no style, where it has
It depends on the posts, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, certainly the posts would help a lot in terms of making it structurally sound. Certainly would. But you definitely can span this. I have a house right now that's going up where we have done exactly this, where we've done a triangular truss system, essentially, that holds up an extended roof like that.
Can you just zoom out, please?
Sure.
So, and then let's talk about the garage. So now the roof is lower, the pitch is lower. Can you go around in the back? Because there were no windows on the back.
Yep. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes strange things happen in CAD programs. I have no idea what that came from. But hey, talk about a cantilever. Wow. Oh, that was part of that roof.
Yeah,
actually.
I mean, you can just show us the elevations.
Yeah, I'll have to do that.
That's
That,
fine.
that was something that screwed up the roof.
Yeah.
So one of those little glitches. Let me just put that thing back and I'll hide them.
We can ignore it for now.
Yeah,
Let's just
but
keep.
let's just go to the elevations.
Now let's go to the elevations.
Okay, got one last guy to catch. There we go. All right, so the rear elevation. There we go. So now you are again in the same kind of position as we were on the other one.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got, if we put a window here, there's no reason why we couldn't create another window and place it here. Sort of matching. It doesn't have to be matchy-matchy, doesn't have to line right up with it. It could in fact be something perhaps that we center in between the two sinks. And that kind of lends itself to a nice look, or we can have two windows flanking the sink.
What's your garage ceiling height?
Well, it drops about 16 inches below the first floor. So it's
Is it existing or?
Yeah, it's an existing garage and it is,
I thought you're taking that down also.
it is about, well, we're not taking down the garage walls. Might as well leave those. They're fine.
Okay.
The reason I want to take down the other walls is because there's so many windows that are in a different place than where we would want it. And to take a wall that is, an 8-inch concrete block wall that's furred in, you're now losing 6 inches on interior space. And with the addition, I looked at that. It made it very awkward to knit the two sides together. And, I don't know if they're filled, if they, to patch all these holes, to put windows in, you end up with Swiss cheese and the integrity of the concrete block is kind of destroyed.
Right.
So it just makes more sense. And also from a cost standpoint, just take those down. But the garage doesn't need to. We can put the garage roof back in. I'm sorry, the garage door right in the same opening.
It's what about to the right of that door? You've got a gigantic blank wall as well.
Sorry?
The side wall of the garage is a very long blank wall as well.
Well, on the left here, yeah, there's a blank wall. They do have some small windows in here. We can certainly replace those. It's
That little triangle over the bathroom window.
Yes. Yes, I wanted to get a little bit of a vaulted ceiling height feeling in there to give it some loft.
No, it looks like you have a triangular window on top of your casements.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you don't have that anywhere else except, I guess, the great room, I suppose, but.
Yep. Yeah, we have it here.
Not really the same thing.
It's very different.
No, it's not the same.
Yeah, I find that transom window a little odd. I mean, back to the front. The front bothers me for, again, back to the garage. Maybe the garage roof gets a little higher, so it looks a little puny there. But the whole, you almost expect, whether it's a modern house or a farmhouse or some old house, a porch. And obviously you don't get it with the window well that you're putting there. But if we get rid of that, you've got something. Because right now you've got this dead space on the right side of the porch roof that's just going to, just be, I just imagine it's going to be dank and dark and musty. But I mean, it's almost begging for a porch. And I think you can do a modern porch and it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to look like a neo-colonial house.
Let's see.
I don't feel like that's really been worked out. I mean, again, You didn't show the
I mean-
brackets, you didn't show the posts, you didn't show the truss system.
Yep.
You know, right now, nothing is holding that up in this view.
Yeah, well, again, the truss system is built inside the roof and it's got a flat ceiling in it.
Right, but you don't,
You
it's not
certainly
on,
can you can certainly make a porch of this and just extend the concrete, and bluestone over to this and have a front porch. Yeah, there's, that I don't have an objection to that.
right, but you're missing, I guess you had a post before. I mean, look at the left side of your roof. Nothing is holding that up unless it's cantilevered in from the inside.
Yeah, it's
magically.
just missing the side wall to it, but
Yeah.
yeah, it would be.
I think there's some things that are missing. I don't think we should design it as we go, because that's not really what we do.
Yeah.
So I think we should just point out what's missing, and then I think you should maybe go and work with it a little on your own.
Yeah.
We want to get some
Taking in all the
direction though
comments
about
that
the
we-
garage. Are we satisfied with the softer slope, or do we think that should all be kind of relooked at?
I mean, again, I've kind of told my feelings about how odd it looks with the rest of the house. I think a flat roof might work better. If you want to use a standing seam, then
Yeah, I'm concerned about a totally flat roof there, only, I mean, not so much from a functional standpoint, but then it is kind of a real oddball compared to everything else. I mean, we do have a sloped single pitch roof here. These are all gable roofs on the back. But this is, a single slope pitch, as is this. I think there is a tie between the two. I think a flat roof then becomes the true oddball.
Is there a way to get the garage roof to kind of slope up a little bit? And then I don't know how you tie it all together, but so in the
Yeah.
front you've got,
Well, here it is at a 2-inch pitch. I had it originally at a 6-inch. So if I have it at 2-inch, here is 3. I'm still able to get a window into this space up here. The higher the pitch, the more you get this gulf here.
all right, well, I agree with Ann. I don't think we should design it here with you, but I think the message to you is that we're not comfortable with that side of the house yet.
Yep. Okay.
And we want you to look around all 4 sides of the house in terms of fenestration to make sure there's some appropriateness of fenestration throughout the house, not big blank walls.
Yep.
And I guess study the front entrance as Stanley suggested. Look at lining up the windows like we've started working together on.
Okay.
and again, it's I don't think that triangular window is doing anything for you. Either do a larger window or, don't do that.
Okay.
All right, and you'll be automatically on the next meeting. We're happy to meet with you again.
Got you.
And our meeting is July 6th. So as long as you get me everything, the revised plans and the thumb drive with everything, I can get you on, if you get it to me by the 29th of June, I can get you on the July 6th agenda.
Do we know that that's going to be a Zoom call?
I don't know for sure. I know it's going to be sometime in June, early June, July. I
Yeah.
just don't know the exact date. So as soon as I find out, if you get me everything by June 29th,
Okay.
I'll let you know at that point.
Yeah, the only reason I will be on vacation that week and not here. I will be out of the state, but I can do a Zoom call.
I think that applicants will still have the option to Zoom in.
Okay.
So I will let you know as soon as you get me everything and I find out, I'll let you know.
Okay, great. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Hope you have a good evening.
You as well.
Too.
Thanks.
So is that what we're doing? We're gonna come back in and watch everybody else on the screen again?
I'm not, it's not 100% sure yet. I know that the Zoom is, I believe, until mid-July. I just don't know when in July. So I know there's
mid-July.
Yeah, I know that they're still in talks as to, I think that as long as we have a quorum, in the building, Tom, correct me if I'm wrong. If we have a quorum in the building, then if any board member outside of the 3 members wants to zoom in, they can still zoom in. And they're trying to not have it that you give your location. Is that right, Tom?
Okay, great. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And obviously, both me and Tom or me and Steve will still be in person. And I think that the applicants will still have the option to Zoom or come in. I don't think that there's a limit to how many people can be in the conference room.
I mean, we can all also opt to wear masks if we want, so.
Yeah,
I was at the
Okay.
town hall the other day. I mean, I was the only one wearing a mask, but whatever.
yeah. Yep. Whatever you're comfortable with.
I'll join
Um,
you.
I'm sorry?
I'll join in. I'll wear a mask too.
But yeah.
I'm amused on Metro North. So many people are not wearing masks.
Oh, really? Oh, it's not required on Metro?
It's required, but
Oh, that's what I thought.
they're not enforcing it. And I'd say about at least 40% of the people aren't wearing masks.
Kristen had been going back to the city and she said it's not even that probably. It's probably 30% wearing, maybe 25.
Yeah, I think everybody's
They
kind of,
probably don't know that it's
Yeah.
required.
yeah.
Oh no, they were she said she saw people or the conductors handing masks out at first, but
Oh.
she said it has absolutely tailed off the last month and a half.
Yeah, it has.
I mean, it's yeah.
I'm getting it.
All
Okay.
right. Thank
All
you.
right,
Stay
thanks.
healthy, everybody.
Thank you.
Nice seeing everyone.